This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, from SEO to GEO, how AI is changing search forever, with special guest, Eric Plotz. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald. Thank you very much. I am really looking forward to today. As you know, like I know enough about SEO just to get myself in trouble. So I'm actually really excited to learn what you're actually supposed to do, not just feeding off of all of the blogs and YouTube videos that contradict one another. So anyway, I'm excited to hear it straight from the source.
Yeah, so today we have a special guest. Yes, we have Eric Plotz of Blue Lake Web Design. He is, well, let's bring him on screen here. There we go. All right, Eric, welcome to Minding Your Business.
Yeah, thanks. Good.
So Eric, you've been doing this for a long time, but you are a seasoned SEO professional. And I would say that I know enough about SEO to know that I shouldn't do it. It's not what wakes me up in the morning. It gets me going. So I appreciate having people like you that actually know what they're doing to refer to and just, to be that expert. So this conversation is happening because a colleague of ours, a shared, friend, vendor, whatever you would call it, Chris Pizar, which has been on the podcast. He was one of our first guests, actually.
Oh, cool.
And Chris and I were talking about SEO, and then he's like, oh, well, there's a whole new thing now called GEO. And I was like, what is that? And he basically started explaining a little bit. I was like, you should do a deep dive on that and come on to, the podcast again and give us an explanation. And he very quickly was like, no, thanks, but you should talk to Eric. So that's how we landed here. So just give us an idea, I know this is going to be a huge conversation, right? And I'm sure it's going to go all kinds of different directions, but let's just start with, who you are, how you got into the SEO field, and then we'll just kind of go from there, wherever the conversation takes us.
Okay, cool. Well, as said, I'm Eric Plotz. I run Blue Lake Web Design out of Novi, Michigan, which being an SEO guy is kind of weird, but we had analyzed our clients and said, well, most of them came in through a web design, so let's use a web design agency and then pitch them on SEO services. So it's worked out pretty well as far as like bringing on SEO. And I got into SEO, which was like 2011-ish, somewhere around there. Well, started looking at SEO, back in 2007, started actually pushing forward in 2011. As we spoke about, some devastation occurred with, lightning hitting the house and the house fire and pushing me out of the music engineering and music realm and more, figuring out websites and stuff like that, which I'd already been looking at. Obviously, the fire happened 2011 and I'd been dabbling since 2007. Had a buddy who was doing it and kind of, stuffing keywords in his background and ranking sites in like 2 days. So that became very interesting to me. And I was like, there probably is money in this, if you can rank businesses like that on the top page of Google. And I mean, he was doing it for his own business. He was a roofer. And I was like, well, this could be sold to other businesses. And that's what kind of brought my interest into doing SEO, and started with my own little projects, obviously, and ranking my own little websites, and ended up creating a really big website in a black hat niche. That was more like for musicians, being that I was from the musician realm. So it was like all your Spotify plays and SoundCloud, this and that. And, I built that site up to grossing $500,000 a year. And then, but I kind of always had like this thing in the back of my head. It was like, this isn't going to last forever. And it didn't. And, so luckily at that time when it was doing well, I started kind of converting myself more into being an agency than doing the, reselling of black hat services and stuff like that. And, I figured, well, if I could rank this site number one for all of the most competitive keywords in this niche, I can probably do it for clients and stuff. And that's where it started.
Black hat I have just a little bit of knowledge about what that is, but can you explain like what is black hat versus what is not black hat?
Well, okay. So when I was saying it just now, I'm referring more to like social media services, right?
Okay.
We're using, bots. What is an account on a social media site anyway, right? It's just an IP address to the social media site.
Okay.
So what do you need then to create an account? You need another IP address. So you use these IP address and bots that automate human behavior and yada yada. That to me is black hat. Now in the SEO realm, I guess if you're using software to build like a bunch of terrible links, right, straight at your website, this could be considered black hat. But that's where it gets weird, right? Because those same links, I'll take them and build them 4 tiers down, right? So you have your website is, the top, right? Then you have your first tier links that point directly at the website. You have second tier links that point at those first tier links, third tier, right? So I'll tiers down, those backlinks that people would consider bad work perfect on 5th, 6th, 7th, go down the line. It's all about what you're using them for, right? I'm not using, say, I'll fire up GSA, SER, Search Engine Ranker, which is a tool that builds, what people would consider low quality backlinks. Okay. If you know how to tweak it, you can get some pretty decent ones out of it. None I would point directly at my website, but you can use it multiple ways. It just depends. I might use, such a forum post or whatever to get indexing just because I want to get stuff indexed, so I build it on the 6th tier just to send the crawlers up all those tiers. And then boom, something that someone else might say is black hat or isn't working is perfectly fine. Or let's say, you look at YouTube videos. The most popular YouTube videos out there have terrible links playing at them in some people's eyes. So if I'm pointing a bunch of links at a YouTube video to rank that YouTube video in Google search, what does it matter how low quality they are? Google's not judging how low quality they are because they got tons of links like that already pointing at their site because it's one of the biggest sites on the web. So it's got every link you can think of pointing at it. So it's not going to hurt your video to run a GSA blast on it.
Wow. So like black hat is basically like, these are the practices you shouldn't do. This is frowned upon. And then white hat is kind of like, here are the things you should do. Is that the right definition?
I mean, my answer after all of that is like, to me, black hat doesn't really exist.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. First of all, thank you. And we're probably going to irritate some people, but I've always thought if it works and it's the best thing that seems to get the most traction and actually happens, even if they're saying, hey, don't do this, but then you look at all the best websites and they're all doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just saying don't do it so they can stay at the top. Like
100%. And Google will tell you what their algorithm wants. I mean, you just look at what the algorithm wants. You look at their notes, you look at their stuff. I mean, it was in 2000 and I don't remember the exact date, but it was a while. It would say before CTR manipulation got hot, right? Now, and I don't know, that's kind of phasing out CTR manipulation with the whole AI buzz, but CTR manipulation has been the rage for some years. I was doing this back in like 2012, 2013, 2014, because we saw that when we drove traffic to say, it was a very simple test. We had a client that was a Silk Balance, which might have to bleed me out. I don't know if I can say brand names, but they're a big spa treatment product. And we had built a site for a distributor of them and actually outranked the brand name. And we did it. We were number 3 to start with our initial SEO, and we couldn't get over that number 3 position. Like I said, this is in like 2014. And I was like, let's do a test. Let's see. And I think Amazon was number 2. There's some big guys up above us, the main product, the big Amazon. So I said, let's do a test and see if just changing our title, our meta title, so the blue title that shows up in Google, let's make a change and see if we make them more clickable. Let's stop making them so boring. Let's stop saying, Silk Balance spa treatment product. Let's include a customer value proposition, a CVP with that, and say, hey, you're going to get, free shipping and free this or whatever. I don't remember what the CVP was exactly, but we made sure the CVP was really big in the title, also keyword oriented, but making sure that CVP what CDP was very prominent in the title. And within a week, we shot up to number one. And it was clear we could correlate that with the traffic data. And we could say, we got a boost in traffic first. That means people were going to Google, they were seeing our result and clicking it instead of clicking the other two results. And we moved up incrementally. Let's put this to the test and see if we just drive traffic to any result and it, to Google, clicks the result. And does it move it? And sure enough, every single test was conclusive in showing that CTR was moving the needle. And now the data's out there from Google. Their Nav Boost tells you that that's 50% of what Nav Boost uses to decide whether a result moves up or down in Google.
Wow. So
we were on this then. And I remember the big wigs over at SEO Signals Lab, right? It's the biggest Facebook page for SEO, or Facebook group for SEO. I remember being laughed at for saying CTR was working from some of the biggest local SEO guys out there. And I won't mention their names, but the biggest local SEO guys out there laughed at me and told me how wrong I was. And we were doing it then. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So there is no black hat in my eyes. I mean, it really, I think it's all perspective, right? Like anyone could say, oh, that's black hat because I don't do it, never have, and whatever. Or I did it and didn't get results from it because I did it wrong.
Sure.
Right.
So let's kind of step into like, what is GEO? What does it stand for? How does it differ from SEO if it does?
Yeah. So, generative engine optimization. What is the little search, windows up there? They're generative engines. They generate the content, right? But it's all generated from your SEO content, so to speak, right? Okay. It's not pulling it from nowhere. It's pulling it from the web. And we used SEO to rank that content on the web. And a lot of the time we're still getting pulled into that window because of the past SEO work that we've done. Now, we have noticed a difference. We have noticed that, we have lost clicks. And a lot of people, I mean, the news reports are out, 50% decrease in clicks for sites across the web and yada, yada. And what we've learned is the pages that wouldn't lose the clicks, right, were the ones that had a simpler answer, but also in that answer required more of an answer, right? Just like you're asking me these questions, I can't answer this simply. It's a question that doesn't require a simple answer, but I can give you a summary and answer it really quickly. So that's what's getting pulled into the AI. So I think with website owners, they can start, figuring this out and putting it together in their head that like, look, yes, you need a summary, but you also want to, in that summary, create a way for people to want to read more. Then they'll start getting it. So you're, it's different from the days of like customer value propositions being more impactful or whatever. Informational search, it really is going to be about how do I get people to be more interested in not only my answers, but my brand as well. Like what makes my answers interesting or more interesting than the next person. So it really is the wild, wild west right now. I mean, I just started doing something new yesterday, that I'm just trying and, we're throwing mud at the wall. So there really is no definitive answer at the moment. I don't think,
That's really interesting because I have, and maybe it's a beta or something anyway, on my Google. When I Google search something, it pulls the AI stuff up first.
Mm-hmm.
It brings that up. And I will look through and I go, ooh, this answers my question. And then I go, because there's a source button and you click it. And then I go to that website.
Correct. Yeah.
So I get to ask the question. I get a breakdown of different parts of the answer. And I go, now I want to read where they got that answer from.
Mm-hmm.
And I click it. And you're right. There are times where I get to that site and I look and I go, yes, this is very well put together. It does explain it and it gives me more information. And sometimes not. Sometimes it's a tiny little piece that took me to that page and I go, this is garbage. And I immediately go back and then look for the next thing that might be able to give me the information I want. And I'm hoping that signal of me going immediately back and then continue looking tells the AI or tells Google, like, that was a crap website, get rid of it.
Absolutely. No, that's exactly how it works. Now, I can't speak on if that's exactly how the AI search windows are working. I can only say I know how Google's algorithm Nav Boost worked and how it moved results up and down the page. And it is a good system, right? Engagement metrics should speak louder than anything. If I go to a page, if the trend is people are arriving to that page and leaving, then yeah, it should be moved down. I mean, I think Google's been using that philosophy forever in search. So I don't doubt that they wouldn't use it. And no.
Okay. Now you mentioned something earlier, so I got to touch on it. You mentioned socials and how that affects and like ties into SEO. How does that tie into SEO? Because I have never pulled up something and had to bring up an Instagram picture or an Instagram thing. It's like it goes to a website, not.
Oh, that's changed now. Yeah, you see it a lot more in search. You'll see Instagram posts now, Twitter posts. We can pull up, and if you go and just analyze, for instance, the look up top sites by worldwide traffic and just look and compare their traffic now, their organic traffic to a year ago. Most of these social networks have grown 4x, 10x. I mean, you look at Reddit. Reddit's the biggest one out there. They went from 170 million to over 1 billion in monthly traffic because of these AI changes. So yeah, it's happening with social networks. I don't think it's as abundant in search as it's going to be eventually, but yeah, I mean, I think it is moving closer to that. Just using, and if you look even in the AI window, I've seen now where I have, like, for instance, a plumbing client, and a lot of his terms, I forget which one it was, like what is a sewer treatment plan or something like that we looked at recently, and it was a video. It was AI had pulled in a transcription of a video on YouTube and used that as the answer in search.
You're right. Now that I'm thinking about it, it does come up, but I go, what is this shit? And I go right past it. Every time I see TikTok, I'm like, there's nobody credible on there doing anything worth anything. And I go right past it and look for actual genuine places. But you're right. I'm now having to skip past that. There's a bunch of vertical pictures. And I'm like, why is this garbage on here?
Yeah, it's the post. Social media posts, stuff like that. It'll mix in. It'll switch up. I've seen, I do a lot of local business stuff. I've seen in the section where you would do like your regular GMB posts or whatever, it says updates in the GMB section. I've seen that be replaced with Instagram posts.
Wow.
And so you're saying it's situational. It's not every single business. It's some businesses.
Sure.
So is it becoming more and more important for people to have, for a business to have a social presence?
Oh, that became more important actually a few years ago. And more so with the launch of AI. So what happened with AI is you had this humongous flood of content, and professionals or experts come into search because what did you need to become an expert? I could just ask AI the answer to my questions. And now I can present myself as an expert. I can write a blog post on something I know nothing about or whatever. So what the search engine kind of went over to is, first it was EAT. I don't know if you guys heard that. So you got expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, or was it experience? Either way, now it's EEAT, and that's experience, expertise, authority and trustworthiness, right? And the way that Google's algorithm kind of gauged this stuff was looking at the authority on the website. Who is the authority on the website? How well are they branded? The person, right? The person that's writing this content. And when you're, it gets wonky when you're like a local business. If you're a little local business, you don't want like multiple writers on your site. Whereas like, that might not be the case for a large national business or like a news company like Forbes or something like that, right? But when you're small, local business, you're not national brand like that, then you don't want a bunch of writers. You want the owner of the business needs to be established on LinkedIn, definitely, right? And then you need to be active on Facebook. You need to be posted on LinkedIn. You need to be posted on Twitter. You need to be posted on all those places so that Google can validate that the person who is writing this content is not only a professional, but that they're actually a real person, so.
Wow. Okay. That's so cool. I mean, it's crazy because it definitely changes, that changes things.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say of the, well, you mentioned a few, but what are the most important? Like, how would you rank them? Obviously, LinkedIn, is probably the most important, but from there, what are the most important socials to be on?
It's changing. It's really changing monthly. Now I'm saying Instagram just because I'm seeing a lot of Instagram in search.
Interesting.
I don't know why it is, because it's really not helpful. So I don't understand it, but I am seeing a lot of Instagram in search.
Is it primarily like reading transcripts from videos, or is it actually looking at
No,
post
that's the
captions?
YouTube. It really is the posts.
Okay.
And especially people now for branding, it's huge, because anytime I type in a person's name, Instagram, always. So I'd say branding wise, it's really huge. And any SEO guy that's really doing SEO and today's age, they'll tell you branding is probably 50% of the battle when it comes to SEO.
Okay.
Now,
Very
do you
nice.
have a druthers or a kind of a pattern, or I don't know, a schedule of what it should look like? Let's say we were to start saying, okay, I'm going to start putting crap on Instagram. I need to put something every week. I need to put 15, 20 good posts and then leave it. Or like what are best practices changing also?
Oh, you need to be, you just need to be active. Right now we use SEMrush as our agency software, and they have a paid feature. I hate it that they ups everything. It's like, I'm already paying, $500 a month for your software, and every integration I got to pay extra for. But they do have a really good automation, like automate to your social media posts, so you only have to post once and it goes out to everything.
Right.
IFTTT used to be great, but I haven't used it in a couple years, but I remember using it last. It was just limited at what you could do and what you could post out and everything. And SEMrush, it was easy. We just go in there, load our posts, schedule our post out, click a button, and it goes out to all our networks. I want to say we typically are posting like 4 or 5. We're definitely, like I said, local business, Google Business Profile is a must, and it depends. Some of our clients do podcasts, and then we're using a service like Buzzsprout. Like, I like Buzzsprout because of how automated it is to the different, even though you got to pay monthly for it, we use it because it makes our work as an agency easy to get our clients' podcasts out there and kind of blast into all the networks. And it automatically shares to YouTube and all this stuff. So, and then it builds a really nice website for you on Buzzsprout, a little web page that helps with branding purposes and stuff like that we build links to. So there's that, so
yeah.
Really does matter, to answer your question better. It really does matter on the client, what networks we're prioritizing, what kind of schedule we're going with. Google will tell you the tail every time, or the social networks. What are your biggest competitors in your area, in your niche, whatever? What are they doing? And how is it being valued? Are they getting traction with it, or aren't they? Because we don't want to just look at our competitors and say, oh, they're posting every single day. Yeah, but are they getting the views? Are they getting the likes?
Right.
Are they getting the engagement? If they are, then okay, cool. But if they're not, well, that's not a good one to gauge off of. And you obviously, we analyze multiple competitors. We're not just looking at our top couple and going on. We're looking at small guys, medium guys, everybody, and saying, what are they doing and what's working for them? And let's see if we can come up with a trend of what's working. And that decides the strategy moving forward. We never move forward with a cookie cutter strategy. Of course, we have our typical stuff we check. We have our audits. We have our things that gives us our baseline foundational work for month 1 and 2 or what have you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like really moving the needle past that, it really is a customized strategy. It's running them through Screaming Frog and looking at the whole structure of their website, looking how that can correlate with their social media, what posts can be shared to social media, what topics are hot on social media, and have they covered that on the website already? So It really is a big correlation between just looking at the brand as an entity and not so much separating their social media from their website or social media from this. For a local client, I might go spam Craigslist for them. You know what I mean? Just to bring in more revenue. So it really is customized to each client for the most part.
Next question, unless you've got one, CJ.
I have some, but you keep going.
If you do, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so would you say that there is a big difference between what you guys do with your agency for someone with physical products, a physical location, or just digital? Like I feel like those are 3 buckets, but maybe there's more. And
there's more buckets for sure. And you're right. Those are 3 different buckets. You know, you could have, and when you say physical products, do you mean like someone walking in a store, like a retail chain or something like that?
Like a physical product. Let's say they're buying it and you're selling candles, and then you're shipping candles
online,
an actual physical product, but just online only. Then there's an actual store where they have a location. They could walk in and buy that stuff. Or there's somebody with no physical location, only online, and then only what they're doing is digital only. So it's either downloads or video or whatever else.
Yeah, so it does all definitely it really does. So like, for instance, we'll just go to the physical products being shipped online, right? Then you're in the e-commerce realm. Well, I could tell you, if you choose Shopify over WordPress for e-commerce, you're already better off. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's just what it is. Google has noticed Shopify has authority in transactional searches. So it automatically applies like a certain unseen, unspoke about value to Shopify stores. You can see this because we've done the research and looked at the data and search by typing in transactional intent keywords into search and seeing what comes up. Shopify sites come up every time almost.
Yeah.
So that tells us if we're doing e-commerce, we need to be starting off at Shopify. And then, it's going further into that. It really is understanding the UX when you're choosing, say, in this situation, Shopify. It's like, what is going to produce the UX metrics? I know if Google's 50% of its algorithm is based off of the user engagement metrics, what platform is able to produce the better user engagement metrics? And it might sound silly unless you've used both of these platforms. And see, I know that WordPress is just not as good from a CRO, a conversion rate optimization perspective, than Shopify is. With Shopify, you can buy a theme like Shoptimize, and you have everything packaged into it. You have tick down timers, in-cart cells, all this stuff that pushes the conversion that WordPress is just not capable of. But see, you have to have been doing it a long time to even know this, right? What do I pick? Shopify, WordPress, what are the reasons? So it does get very vast when you talk about segmenting the different types of businesses that could be out there and what they could potentially use to get the most out of search. That's not to say that someone that launches a WordPress site that's an e-commerce store isn't going to get traffic. It doesn't say that at all. I just think their way to the top is going to be a bit more difficult than if they had started with a Shopify store.
Right. But if it's something where like the content of the website, the articles and that kind of stuff is more important, then really they'd be doing themselves a disservice by not going with WordPress. It's
correct.
Kind of, now is there a use case where you could build the content side of the website on WordPress and then use a subdomain or something to build a store on Shopify, or is that just me like hacking together my own invention?
No, and out of experience, I've noticed like, that's cool and all, but you'd probably be doing yourself much better at just launching 2 different sites.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So in that, I mean, Aaron's already kind of like going down this path, like in that realm where let's say it's a digital product that, it's all online. There's no inventory to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like someone like I would say me, like I don't have a physical address. I work from home. Like, is that a harder type of business to rank because you don't have like the name, address, phone number stuff to rely on as much? Or like, do you just go about it a different way?
Well, give me an example. I'm sorry, digital product.
So let's say like, in my case, right? So I'm let's say a freelancer or a business coach or whatever it is, and I don't have a physical office to list out on all the directories and have like a Google My Business that, has a physical address and stuff. That is kind of hurting me, right?
Oh yeah.
So what's the way around that? Is there anything I could do to improve my rankings to try to make up for not having a physical address?
100%. Go find a office suite number for a couple $100 a month.
Go to mailboxes, etc., and get a.
No. I wouldn't do that. No. I'm completely against mailboxes or anything. Those get removed. I find suite number offices with suite numbers, as long as it's an office. And I don't go to any of like the big co-working spaces like Regis or anything that's well known by Google. You always want to look for your like local little office spaces. Craigslist is a gold mine for that stuff. You go to Craigslist, you find these little square, 4x or 8x8, 8x12 offices for a couple $100 a month. And that, in terms of marketing expenses, just it's a no-brainer. Like,
really, it's that
because
powerful.
When it comes to Google Maps, someone who has an address and someone who doesn't have an address, it's just night and day as far as what you're going to be up against with ranking.
Wow, that is good to know.
Yeah. Spend the 200, 250, whatever. Find you a cheap little office. Nobody's coming to see you at the office anyway, right?
That's
true. I make sure that the outside of the office building is real nice and looks presentable, so that when they pop it up in Google Business or whatever, they see the outside of the office building. Yeah, but I mean, since COVID, we don't worry about having an office anymore. It's just But here in Michigan, where I'm at, they're a little bit more blue collar and behind the curve, so they still, if they want to see a big office and stuff when they're picking a marketing aid. Be a bit strategic about that.
I've done it both ways. I've had the offices. I've had small offices, big offices.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 2018 is when I just said, you know what, it's really not bringing me any value. So I, switched.
It doesn't.
Move the whole team to work, from home remotely, which was great during the pandemic and the lockdown and everything, because we were already kind of ahead of the game. We knew how to work remotely together and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely a downside, So going kind of, this is kind of a selfish question also. My son, he has a little like online coffee business. So we roast fresh coffee and ship it out nationwide. It's called Roast of the Week. And for the life of me, it is I'm just going to be completely transparent here. Like, it is the hardest thing I have ever tried to grow. And we have done farmers markets and
you mean the business?
It's like not making the coffee. We actually have some local roasters do it for us now, which is great. It started actually in my friend's garage, but this way we don't have to worry about FDA and all the things, right? But
sure,
it is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I have grown several businesses. Bootstrapped, and I've done it multiple ways, and I've been way more successful than at this. And I think a lot of it is just price point, right? So it's not a high dollar transaction, so I can't spend $20 on bringing a lead in. My cost for acquisition has to be really, really low, because we're only making at most $10 a bag, and that would be in a perfect situation. A lot of times it's closer to $5 a bag. So, from a, discoverability standpoint, like, we also have done zero, and I mean absolutely zero on the SEO side of things. But that's one of the things we're looking at moving forward. Like, okay, it's a really highly competitive space. It's a commodity. We have to differentiate ourselves, but beyond the differentiation and everything, just this discoverability. I mean, it is a physical product that we are shipping out, but are there any avenues you could kind of point us down, like, hey, try this or try that?
Oh yeah. I mean, probably going to hate this answer, but outside of the basic foundational SEO stuff, I mean, your coffee, it's so competitive. I'd ignore SEO. I'd focus my time, like I said, making sure that I did not thumbs down anything.
That was me.
Ignoring SEO in the beginning, not ignoring it, but past that, kind of just forgetting about it and going towards a ad strategy like Facebook ads, working on your branding, TikTok, video stuff. You know, how old's your son?
He is 17.
17, right? So young guy. Like, it's not typical for a young guy to be out here, you know, roasted coffee or selling roasted coffee or something. Position himself as the brandable expert in the coffee, whether he wants to do some like coffee tasting on TikTok or whatever. But tough with the Facebook ads. And making sure, like I said before, that those CRO optimization factors are in place.
Yeah.
So your in-cart upsells, you know, do you guys have coffee grinders on the site? Are you selling all the accessories that go along with coffee? Are you selling, I don't know, anything you could think of that could go along with coffee? Maybe a French press, right? Anything you can offer in the cart, and then you add a different layer to that where it's like, hey, this is originally, you know, $30. Right now, if you add it in cart, since you're already buying anyway, we'll give it to you for, you know, 20. You've got 5 minutes to go ahead and push the trigger.
Right.
You know, those things. I was a non-believer before I got on the Shopify train, and I got on that. I don't 2017 something. We had my friend had a Shopify store that was breaking even, doing like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a month, something like that.
Okay.
$100 a day on average, I think is what it was. And we took it and we did some analyzing. He brought me in as like SEO, and I had lunch, and he was like, well, I kind of want to switch to Shopify. He was on WordPress, and I was like, all right, let's try it. So we switched to Shopify. He kind of knew that the Shoptimize theme already had like the optimizations it needed, like packaged in stuff that would cost you $2,000 a month with a one-time fee with the Shoptimize theme. And we put those tick down timers and the little pop-ups that such and such and such and such just bought this, or and just everything that the Shoptimize theme. And just for your like listeners and stuff, just go to the Shoptimize, the demo. There's a demo, and like you're going to get more of an education just clicking around their demo on CRO, conversion rate optimization, than anything you're going to read. And we launched it, and we didn't change anything, not the ad traffic, not spend, not anything. Only added these CRO features, and the site went from doing $100 a day to $1,500 a day.
What?
With just that change.
Oh my gosh!
What? Wow!
With just dialing in the CRO, in-cart upsells, maximizing the amount that people spend on your site, and getting people to spend. It was huge, night and day. So that's the biggest advice for you guys. Like, really focus on bringing good traffic in. I would advise Facebook ads for sure. I mean, that the retargeting and really dialing, like, you can't just launch a Facebook ad. You've got to build out your audiences, not use all their automated AI nonsense. Build out your retargeting audiences. Let them use the retargeting audiences that you kind of segmented and stuff to build those lookalike audiences out. And hit the ground running, track everything, look at everything, every single ad, look at how the engagement is, and build out those retargeting lists based on the engagement. If someone commented, you might want to have a different retargeting ad versus I had was, somebody left something in the cart. We had like a video they would get retargeted with where it was just like it created curiosity. It was like a curiosity hook.
Right.
Yeah, the shopping, we put a little motor on the shopping cart and had this shopping cart driving, a remote control shopping cart driving around the parking lot with stuff still in it. You know what I mean? It was like, hey, did you forget something?
Oh my gosh.
We're not going to send that ad to someone who hasn't added to cart, obviously, right? So that data does give you different ways to retarget people, and you do got to use Facebook like that. Instagram being hand in hand with Facebook, right? Instagram's great for top of the funnel ads because the CPMs on story ads are super low that you can just bring traffic in for a lot lower than, say, first stage of the funnel on Facebook. Put that first stage of the funnel using the lowest cost ads and the traffic, and then monitor those metrics, retarget accordingly. That would be my advice for any e-commerce store.
That's great stuff. I mean, I don't, that's not the happiest news I've ever heard, but actually what the results speak for themselves, and
Yeah.
that's enough to get me off my duff. And
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I might need to make some plays. I
Yeah.
have like, I'm comfortable in lead generation marketing, right? So we're going after a higher value customer that's, where we can spend, let's say it is $100 to acquire, a customer. Well, it's paid for in that lifetime value of that customer, like easily. Sure. That's comfortable. That's a place where, we bring them in as a lead and we then nurture them, and then they become a loyal customer that then becomes a brand advocate for us. Great. That's very different than hey, we're selling a commodity, and there's a lot of other options out there. So please choose us,
Yeah, get them on auto ship, right? Get them on auto ship with a deal, with a discount. Like, hey, auto ship.
And that's what it's founded around. It's roast of the week, because it's a different origin every week, and it's primarily a subscription. We also
like
sell,
a surprise box for coffee type
exactly
thing.
Yeah. Anyway, like so I've got some work to do. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Aaron, do you have anything? I have a couple questions, but I don't want to bogart this conversation.
No, I mean, yes, eventually I'm going to have him go over. Obviously, we know what he does.
Yes.
And how he's kind of touched on how to do it and whatnot. What is because the longer we talk, the more I realize that everything is unique to the customer, to the client, to their business, to their location, to their targeted audience, to their clients, all of that.
No two entities are ever going to be the same in that aspect, right? They're the amount of they bill, or the amount of work they've done to their website, or the type of optimization that's been done to the website, their social networks, their this, their that. It's never going to be the same.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, is there a rule of thumb kind of pricing, or is it like, no, everybody's different? I would never even start to kind of let people know, like, oh, by the way, it's in the $10,000 range, in the $5,000 range, in the $1,000 per month thing. Like, what is it? How do you charge? Is it a one-time thing? Is it a subscription thing? Is it a entry level plus subscription? Like, what are you doing?
I'd like to talk to some bigger agencies about how they do it, even though I've audited bigger agencies, and I don't like it. It just seems like they get people in the door. It's a numbers game to them, and they do their same stuff with their people. And if it works, it works for 60% of people, great, they're in profit. And, they can account for 10% of the people it didn't work out for being mad and needing a refund or whatever, but a lot of the bigger agencies I've noticed, I've audited their stuff, and a lot of the stuff, some of the stuff I audited, it's like, but this isn't working for them or these clients. So the way we do it over here is we come up, I do kind of like a high level overview of what I see initially. I also leave the door open for, increases or upsells as we go along. But I say, hey, look, this is what I think you guys need. This is, and we can segment it any way you want by whatever you say your budget is. So this is the work that needs to be done. We can space this out over 3 months, over 6 months, over 9 months, and then we move into a phase 2 after this set of steps. But here's your phase 1 to get you to this point. And we can do it, as much as you want. There's an overall price for that phase 1. And then that leaves it, because we're in Michigan. I mean, a lot of these local businesses, and sometimes their budget is only like $700 a month, so we try to work with those guys and help them out. We realize they're little local companies and not pulling in a lot of stuff. So, we just give them those options. Hey, if you've only got $700 a month, then you're going to be paying that for, 6, 7, 8 months before we really start. You're going to gain little more traction than what you are now incrementally over time, but we could do those same results in the next 3 months for you, if you're willing to pay for that,
Pay more upfront. Yeah. So like,
and then
go ahead.
I was going to say, is there a magic, like at the end of phase 1, that's about the break even point? Or is it like, no, you never know? It could be.
Yeah, you
like
don't ever
in
know.
phase one could be, you could see no difference. And then we bump into phase two. Like, how would you measure momentum, or I'm sure you have analytics or something that you look into where you go, it's starting to work. It isn't paying off yet, but trust us, it will, because look, it's building up the momentum to hit the tipping point, at which point, because I'm having to guess that when people do what you tell them to do, let's say somebody came in with an unlimited budget and you were like, absolutely, we're going to get you within 12 months. I think we can get you. I don't think, like, even if they paid you $1 million, you could do it in a month or a day.
No,
Like,
no, yeah, correct.
there's a specific length of time that it takes to do it properly.
Mhm.
And with no, let's say, no restriction on budget, you would say, yeah, we could probably 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x. Like, what would you say? Or is that also contingent on the business and the thing and the product and all of that?
It really is contingent, because I'm an agency. I hate agencies that promise traffic increases. What does it? Yeah, I can increase your traffic for a number of keywords. Are they driving you sales? Are they bringing in customers that are converting? Right? Like, if, for instance, a good example is I did some SEO for a cancer research center a while back, and we were ranking them for like prostate cancer treatment, this and that. And they called me and they said, hey, we just got audited by another agency. And they said, you're not even focusing on on the keyword prostate cancer. I said, well, I'm not. I have no desire. My desire is to produce revenue for you guys. You hired me because you wanted to sell more treatments, right? Well, if someone just types in prostate cancer into Google, what is their intent of that search?
Right.
You can't determine the intent. Why am I going to focus on a keyword that I can't determine the intent? Now, yes, we may produce other long-tailed keywords around that content, prostate cancer for this and that, and, or what is this in the prostate cancer, different things that would support that treatment content. Sure. But we're not focusing on just prostate cancer. You're never going to outrank the big medical sites that are out there for that keyword. You're never going to outrank MD Anderson or WebMD or you're never going to do that. Why would we even waste your budget as a client on that keyword, right? So it really is situational, and it really does take a lot of the client understanding, because they don't, just like that example. These are big people, and they came to me like, well, her prostate cancer. You don't want to,
right?
So
with this is something I've heard for years and years and years, but the saying that okay, YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the internet, which I don't know if that's still true, and then it was like, okay, so this is why you need content on YouTube to rank, and it helps your organic results and all that stuff. Is that still true? And how important is YouTube? And then if it is important, how in the world do you rank that?
Now you got to pay this answer too. Everything is relevant. Just it matters how it's applied and how you use it, and to kind of go back on what he said about a time frame. Sorry, I had to kind of skip past that. There is no time frame, you incrementally try to push up the sales. It's essentially at the core. Yes, we're pushing up traffic. Yes, we're pushing up this, but we're really dialing into those things that are what's producing the sales. Is it a form submit? Is it phone calls? Is it all of them? Whatever the engagement metric right before a conversion is, we're focusing on pushing that no matter what it is. And it's going to move up incrementally. So if you say a time period, right, 12 months or whatever, you can't really call it, because it's 12 months, we could increase you 4x. We could increase you 2x. We could increase you 20x. We don't know. I've seen a business, we switched them to Facebook ads, and they did 55 times return on ad spend.
Wow.
And Facebook. So it's hard. There is no definitive answer. You really, as an agency or as a company, you need to be dialing it all. Yes, could YouTube not work for you? Sure. You don't know until you've done it and you've been trying and you've been hitting it. So it's just you really do got to find somebody in this time and age that does kind of is multifaceted with their marketing approach and does understand all this and what to look at and is it going to be right for your business or whatever. I would say it's all right. The more content you can put out on the web, the more AI is going to value you anyway. Touching back into GEO, they're going to see you as the more brandable, reputable, authoritative entity out there that's publishing this content, and they're just going to pull more of you in because of it. The more content you have out there.
Okay, so next question. Would you say that what you do would be more valuable for, and I'm just going to, because of the way my brain works, I'm going to subdivide it into two categories. Number one is people trying to get established, get going. And then number two, people trying to scale up. Which would you say that what you do is more beneficial for A over B, or probably no, it makes way more sense to scale up? There's some foundational things you got to take care of yourself first. Or would you say no, we help people get established and then we also help them scale?
Yeah, I mean, both ways. Yeah. So if it's a new business, though, and again, it really comes, new businesses tend to have less budget. So it really does depend. If they're that new business that's ready to do everything, sure, we'll do them both at the same time. We'll start pushing you out to social media and doing the foundational and doing everything you need all at once. But do you have the budget to support that? So it really depends on the client's budget. Do they have the budget to support doing both, or do they want to kind of like inch it up?
Okay.
So yeah, it's a tough one. It really does depend on their budget. We can do it all though. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay. Last one, then I'll let you talk. I can see you're chomping at the bit over there. Would you say that your ideal, let's just say ideal client wise, is somebody who's already tried a bunch of things and now they're ready to have a professional do it, where you kind of maybe have to clean up the mess? Or is your ideal customer somebody who's blank slate and you would just like, here, we can just start helping you right from the get-go?
Anybody that's been in SEO a long time will tell you the most like common answer is it depends.
Man, this guy's a politician.
Yeah, seriously. It really does. One client came to me and they had they used, we're in the age of AI, and they used this AI plugin that went and, changed all of the metadata and meta titles on their site. And what it did is, just to kind of put it simply, the AI software would analyze the content. It would see what you were already kind of ranking for, and it would go, oh, this page isn't ranking for this keyword that I just pulled out of this content. So let's stuff it in the title. Let's put it in the URL. Let's put it in the alternate tags of the images. Let's put it in all these places. But what it was failing to do was see the intent of the search. For instance, one of the pieces of content we saw was like, why you shouldn't clean your drains with baking soda and vinegar. Well, this AI plugin went and optimized it for how to clean your drains with baking soda and vinegar. Two different, completely intense, right? So what would happen is it ranked it for how to clean your drain for baking soda and vinegar. Traffic arrived to the page. The post was about why you shouldn't do that, and traffic left. So eventually, they got this mega boost from the AI. They were happy and all of that stuff. But 2-3 months later, their traffic completely flatlined and collapsed because of that plugin. So that cleaning that up was a tremendous battle, so it really is situational. That's an extreme case that we just dealt with recently. So yeah, I would prefer someone who's not tried to do anything to their site, because business owners tend to mess them up. Now it's not bad. A lot of the time, it's like I said, that was an extreme case. For the most part, it's pretty easy stuff that needs to be cleaned up. We just got to go and dial in their website a little bit, add some services pages, do their schema market, rip their SEO plugins out of there if they installed any, and put our own in there and do that stuff. So it's usually pretty basic with that stuff.
Okay, that was primarily my question, because a brand new website, I've always understood it to be harder to get established versus somebody who's had a website for 5, 6, 7 years. I've already got some backlinks, already got a little bit of authority to get more momentum quicker. But am I misunderstanding that?
No. You're hitting a no sell now like that. Like if now that client that's been on the web for a while and doesn't have any issues and did kind of stick to the book and didn't go and buy a bunch of bad backlinks or do any of install an AI plugin. No, I would prefer that. Yeah, I would prefer somebody branded and already authoritative in search, because at that point in time, we're just going out on the web and trying to make more nodes, backlinks, profiles, content, press releases, whatever. We're just trying to create more nodes on the web that connect back to them at that point in time versus actually create the entity.
Gotcha. Now, I also remember you had just mentioned, it's hitting me from a minute ago. You said, oh, sometimes we'll get those, let's say, negative bad backlinks. And I just know this because I've got a friend who has a website who has, I don't know, 8 million backlinks, buys all of the worst, cheapest, crappiest ones, ranks number one for all of the things they're trying to rank for, is doing millions of dollars in business. And he's like, there's no such thing as bad publicity. I mean, he's running at a 20% spam rate on his website.
Wow.
He's still outranking manufacturers for their own products.
How long has the site been up?
6, 7, 8 years, maybe.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
So and anyway, not to cut you off, sorry.
My gosh. So when you said, no, that's another way you do it. What you do is you can get those bad, let's say, sketchy backlinks or whatever, but 5 layers deep. Do you have extra websites, or are you going to like blog post, Blogspot or something, and then linking the bad backlinks to that, then linking your thing up? Like what, or is that
all
not
of
something
the above? All of the above. Okay. We're building our own. We're buying PBNs from reputable sellers that we know. We're building our own PBNs instead. We're creating Web 2.0 right now. I mean, right now, just to give you an example, it really is watch and search. Right now, you can rank Claude, the Claude AI LLM. Mm-hmm. You can rank Claude artifacts in search right now. They just publish and share them. You can hit publish. If you look at the top of Claude, there's a button that says publish, and you could rank those, and they're ranking pretty well right now. What I'll do is I'll go through SEMrush. I'll find, SEMrush tells you the intent. So I'll find low competition, informational intent keywords and rank them number 3 in Google in a couple of days right now.
My brain hurts.
Yeah. So it is really paying attention, and that's referred to as like what we call in the SEO world as a parasite page. So yeah, I mean, there always are going to be the little like parasite pages that you can rank. Just a couple months ago, it was or a few months ago, it was ChatGPT. There was this big fuss about how much these private ChatGPT chats were getting indexed and like exposing people's API keys because they were, asking stuff about APIs and this and putting their APIs in the chat and then sharing the chat, and then it was indexing in Google and stuff. So yeah, we're paying attention into all that stuff because I saw that and I was like, oh, great. I could spam ChatGPT now and get traffic from Google. Cool. My whole goal is to get traffic that converts. So if I can create a ChatGPT page that's like dialed in on conversion rate optimization, what does the person want when they arrive to this content? And I give it to them right up at the top. Hey, we're driving traffic. That's all that matters to me.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one, you mentioned a couple times, pull out the SEO plugin, put in our own. So yeah, what do you mean by that? And what are the SEO plugins that as a developer I should avoid?
Oh, okay. I don't like, well, I'll tell you what when I say our own, I don't mean like something we developed. I mean, sure. Our choice, our tech stack, right? So we use Rank Math. Okay. It's the one we've always used. It's just very customizable, right? You can really go in and edit.
Yes.
For instance, like schema. I'm a schema nerd, schema nut. I really dial in the rich snippets, create my own schema. Rank Math has a way you can create your own schema templates and stuff. And I don't know if the other plugins out there like Yoast or any of that stuff have made advancements over the years. We've been using Rank Math for a while now. So I mean, just been the go-to. And the reason it's chosen when it was is because of the flexibility with the schema and stuff like that, and what it did there. So we used to cut it off for its automated schema and then just build our own templates, but it's really gotten better over the years, and something that we're doing now, because I don't, we'll say it here because it's, it's pretty low key, I guess. Something that, I try to stay ahead of the curve, and conversational search, it's getting more conversational. People are going to be conversing with the search engines eventually. Yes. It's not going to be this, it's going to be more, hey, I'm looking for a plumber near me. Can you help me out? Type of searches, right? So right now there's something called speakable schema that we're integrating into everything. So that's only about a year. We're only about a year from that. So I imagine all the SEO guys will start jumping on speakable schema. I can imagine. I haven't looked, because I do this stuff on my own. Like I said, CTR was one of the pioneers there, like first people doing CTR. And I don't think there's anybody talking about speakable schema in the SEO realm right now. I haven't seen. I've seen a couple blog posts from like of course, Ahrefs or somebody like that is going to comment, but I haven't seen anyone in the SEO community really talking about it yet. So
I mean, it's funny you say that, because that's literally where I was going. I was going to talk about how the way I search for things has completely changed. Mm-hmm. Where I would kind of pride myself on how I was really good at Googling. I would have business partners, right? That like we do the same things basically, like, and they couldn't find something I could because I knew how to Google, right?
Right.
But especially in areas that I'm like, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
I've found that using AI, using ChatGPT or whatever to search and help me through that process has made things so much more streamlined. Whether it's searching for. Actually, here's a very valid, like a great example. I used to use MailChimp a lot. I have many MailChimp account, access to many MailChimp accounts. And I wanted to move to a different email marketing service provider. But I've been with MailChimp for so long that I don't even know what I don't know. And I don't want to spend a half a day trying to compare all the different, top ranking ones when I search on Google and all that stuff. So I started just having a conversation with ChatGPT, and I am lazy, so I will speak to it instead of type it.
Sure.
So, which is great because I can just have a conversation and I don't have to think about what I'm writing, and exactly what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And it did a really good job of comparing, right? Here's the kind of top 5 or whatever. And then I could ask my follow-up questions like, okay, well, does it also provide this? Because, I'm looking for automations at a low cost. I need to be able to send nurturing campaigns, and I don't want to have to spend $35 a month for that for a startup client, and so through that whole process, I landed on, OmniSend is what we've kind of landed with. But it's invaluable, like using AI for me to just shave off the time. It still wasn't like a short period of time in doing the research, and then I had to, dig deeper. But I could have lost days.
Yeah, you would have lost, right, and maybe not got the answer you were looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's it's almost like I had to do this before with other things like project management softwares. Like looking at Basecamp or Teamwork or Asana, Monday, like those types of things. And when you're looking at a sales page, they're only pointing out the things that are great, that it does well, and its features. They never point out like, here's what it's missing.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's what's helped me searching with AI for this kind of stuff. But like literally, like I find that I'm not even going to Google to search anything anymore. I kind of pull up ChatGPT or Grok or whatever and start asking questions, because I can talk to it like I'm talking to you. Like, hey, I'm really dumb and I need help, answering this question that I think I have. I don't really know how to form this question, and I'm going to use a lot of extra words. And then it filters through that, and it's like, oh, I think this is what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's gotten pretty smart. I think GPT-5 has gotten stupid, but it just won't do the fun stuff that I used to like it for.
Okay.
I used to do a lot of stuff. Forgive me coughing. I'm still getting up. Like I've been sick for 3 weeks. Like
That's
today,
right, yeah.
it's like I'm not 100% yet. So forgive me for that. But
Well, you're killing it, man. You're
yeah.
blowing our minds even with a cough.
So yeah, it's changed a lot. But wait, what were we just speaking about? I'm sorry.
I don't know. My brain hurts. We were talking about GPT-5, and it's not. You think it's dumb. It's not doing
yeah.
what-
It's just horrible nowadays. Yeah, I kind of went off the rail with that one. But yeah, GPT-5. I like to, for instance, the other day I was like, hey, roast this celebrity for me, and it used to be really good with stuff like that. Like
Okay.
I asked it to roast the city I live in, and it was like flawless. And now we're like, GPT-5 is, I guess, more woke for lack of better terms. And it's just like, no, I can't do that for you. Sorry. We don't talk badly about people.
Oh my gosh. That's where you go over to Grok and turn it on. What's the absurd mode or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, I have like, this is kind of like the question I'm building to, but I also like, I want to end on a high note.
Sure.
But Aaron, do you have anything else like before we start to wrap up?
I suppose there was one other question. I know you had, and this is a selfish one that'll be clear as soon as I start asking it. You mentioned being able to rank up people's like videos.
Yeah.
So you can rank their just singular video or their channel, or like, is that a completely different thing compared to a business?
Channel, it's video by video. I wouldn't say. Now, I guess there's some that you could probably rate a channel for. Like if you became like the authority in a niche on your YouTube channel, right? Like I'm sure if I typed something in about YouTube optimization videos or something into Google, would probably pull up one of those big guys like vidIQ or TubeBuddy or whoever the big guys are. So yeah, in that aspect, I think, but not typically. I think it's really going to be a video per. It is a video per video basis, honestly.
So this is a YouTube question too. Like how important, in all the things that you can do, like I know you can add a transcript, you can add keywords, you obviously description, like it's all kind of overwhelming. And I do all those things, but like how important is it like to do all the things? Is there one that's most important?
It's funny. We're testing. I'm doing YouTube changed a little bit. So you've got multiple feeds, that you could adhere to. If you go and just look at your analytics in YouTube, right? You've got the search feed, you've got the recommended feed, you got the browse features, you got all these other things that show traffic. And it really is knowing how you get in each one of those individually. For instance, and then you have the shorts that are like completely separate feeds from that. And the way that those are like shorts have 4 channels of views. They have the shorts feed, search views, and a couple of other that I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But you'll notice we're doing a lot of tests with shorts and videos right now. And we're not seeing any trends, which is really weird. And I'll give you an example. For instance, for like the past couple of months, we've been publishing like consistent content for a channel that does pretty well. I mean, they get, 500 to 1,000 views on a short, couple hundred views when they launch a video. So not like a big channel, but they do okay, right? So we've been kind of monitoring their YouTube stuff, and we were just not seeing any consistencies with like publish times or anything. We tried publishing at 6 p.m. and it's weird. Like shorts, if we published them at 6 p.m., they would shoot up immediately, like boom. But then we'd go back and we'd look at our analytics and the traffic, and it was showing us that our audience was actually online at 4 p.m. So a couple of weeks ago, like, let's try publishing these at 4 p.m. and see if that helps more. So no, so weird. We published on Mondays at 4 p.m. and it would get no views that day, like barely, like 80 views on Monday. And then it would be not until Tuesday night at midnight the videos would start kicking up. And then Wednesday day, they would ramp up. If we launched at 4. Now, if we launched at 6, they ramp up right away. Launch it at 4 p.m. on a Monday, nope, they're going to slow roll us. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if that's niche or if that's, we got to test a lot more channels. But yeah, it's weird right now. to be honest. Even like YouTube search. But I will say this: what has always worked and will always work is getting views on the video. So you could unlist it or make it private or whatever, and run an ad to it. And then when you list it, it gives you a much bigger boost. So I forget there's a certain strategy to that. And like getting more views initially, and then launching the video publicly to your subscribers and stuff like that. And it just kind of amplifies those user engagement metrics initially. And from what I've read about YouTube's algorithm, they like that. You know, when a video gets more user engagement metrics upon launch, it tends to do better and get shown more. So,
of course, you have to pay.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can always, I don't want to recommend it publicly to anyone, but there's always the type of services that I used to provide back in the day. You can still find them out there, but so there's a little black hat with that.
If a video were to launch, go public, because before that it's private or whatever, and then after, or unlisted or something. And then after that, when you're launching it to go public, it already has 200 or 300 or 1,000 or 1,500 views. It automatically is like, oh, look at how many views right when it starts, and then it goes.
Yep. They can, it just helps. It helps it. Like if the video's already because you could share a video if it's unlisted, right? You could share it to your private audiences and stuff. So if a video already has views before you list it publicly, views, likes, stuff like that, then it tends to get a little bit more of a ramp. Now, again, this is niche specific, right? Like if you're in music and you do this with a couple thousand views, it's not going to get you anything, because the top artists are getting millions upon launch, right? So it got to keep that in mind. And it's like the one caveat is, it really does depend on the niche you're in as to how many views you need to actually get that moving.
Okay. Man, my wheels are spinning. I've got ideas. So that's so interesting though. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. I'm watching Aaron too, because Aaron is a YouTube star. You just haven't seen him yet.
It's just I'm undiscovered as of yet.
Undiscovered YouTube.
Yeah.
But I could see like in that kind of situation, like Aaron, for Being Bernard. Aaron's just released his 7th episode, and you're getting ready to release the 8th episode.
Yeah, 7th. My 8th one's go out today at 5.
And just to give you a short synopsis, it's
and that's in the relationship stuff.
It's a little different. I don't know, Aaron. Why don't you explain it?
Yeah. Sort of. It's basically therapy, sort of.
Okay.
Satirical therapy with absurd clients. And the therapist is really sarcastic, unraveling.
It's like a comedy thing.
Yeah. Basically, it's therapy comedy. And so there's some narration with me, obviously, but Being Bernard standing behind the desk, giving commentary and narrating the therapy session that happened with flashbacks of the client and the therapist. I started out trying to use AI as the clients. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
The timing and pacing and everything was a little off. So the last 2 episodes, the first one I just did last week, and then this new one that goes out today, I'm acting as everyone.
Oh, cool.
So I'm Bernard, I'm the narrator, I'm the therapist, and I'm the client. And
it works really well.
It's just the clips, like it clips it real. Yeah.
Eric, I'm telling you, I saw the 7th episode earlier this week, and I was dying laughing.
Oh, that's cool.
I've watched it 3 times.
Cool.
Like it's great. And it really is. It's like Aaron's alter ego, if he's like slowly slipping out of reality.
Nice.
Just headed towards a meltdown.
My God, I get to put so many things, I think nobody gets into mental health that isn't a little crazy.
Sure, yeah.
And so when I'm sitting there and I'm listening, I'm like, oh, my schooling, my education, everything tells me I need to just stay professional, keep smiling. But honestly, inside, like I'm screaming. And I'm like, oh my God, get off your ass. Like, you've got to do something. You can't just sit here and complain every week.
That's what that is.
In the show,
shows that side. Yeah.
In the show, I get to do that. I get to do more of that.
That's that's great. Yeah. I'm getting your audience obviously is other therapists or whatever who can empathize with that.
My audience right now is no one.
But I mean, your target audience.
Yeah, it's a dozen people. But I think therapists should laugh. I think clients also are going to laugh because they're like, oh, I knew they were thinking that.
I
knew.
So there's a lot of optimization you can do within the video, bringing that into perspective, right? Like, your audience, you can definitely target your audience when you talk about setting up your YouTube, right? So, going in and just dialing in as much as possible. Hashtags and tags, those hashtags and tags matter when it comes to shorts, hashtags in the title. When it comes to videos, tags in the tag section.
In the title.
Oh yeah, shorts for short videos, absolutely.
Okay, I'm curious because I clipped the long video into little snippets so people get a taste of it and get to watch it.
Right.
And I was trying to be like very literal and saying what the video was and what the clip was and whatever. And then it's like telling me all these hashtags, skit comedy, funny tales, all of this dry humor stuff. And I'm like, no, why would I put any of that in the title? I should probably be putting that in the titles.
Absolutely.
I had one video go crazy and I was just lazy. And so I was just like, comedy session gone wrong, like extreme fail. And I posted that. And my God, I got 2,500 views compared to 40.
People love fails. They love destruction. They love damage. They love, anything like that is going to automatically, as long as you emphasize it. And then your thumbnails, like the thumbnails on the shorts matter so much. I finally got one of my clients to realize this. And I'm like, dude, look, let me do it. Let me do a test. Back off for a minute. Let me show you the power of this. Because you didn't believe me. I was like, I'll make you a bet. All I'm going to do is put an emoji on the thumbnail. With the head thing exploding.
Right.
I'm going to put this exploding head emoji, and I guarantee you it doubles the amount of views you usually get. And sure enough, it did.
Wow. You can't
no
upload
words,
a
no anything.
All you can do is you have to take a clip.
You have to do it on your phone. You have to do it on your phone. Yeah, scroll through it.
So I haven't figured out a way. I put words on it, and I'll try and put,
So what you got to do?
Emojis, dang.
Make your own what I do is I make my own in Canva. I make my own, and then I will add it as a millisecond end scene on the video.
Oh.
That way I can go select that scene as my thumbnail.
So it's like one frame.
Yeah, it's like one frame. They don't even see it. It's just like blipped and gone. But when I pull up that YouTube select the thumbnail, I can go to the very end, and it's right there as a still shot. And I can grab that scene and use that as my thumbnail.
I remember when you actually had to do that on YouTube, it had to be at like 0, 25, 50, or you couldn't actually set a custom thumbnail. It had to be a frame in the video.
Right, exactly. And now, it still is like that. You have to add that image to the frame to the end of the video. Whatever video we're using, Clipchamp over here, video software from Microsoft. Just to do that stuff. And like even if it's a client, they already uploaded, a lot of my clients still go and just upload to their YouTube. So I got to like download it, and then we'll just bring their video into Clipchamp and add that on the end of it, do our little thumbnail and boom. And we try to, keep it simple as possible. Like I said, this video actually was horrible that he put up there. It was just him going under the ground in a sewer and showing the underground of the sewer. Very boring, and it was very grainy and yada yada. But I mean, just because I just knew, like, it showed the view of them going down into this hole. I'm like, all right, the hole creates a curiosity hook.
Yes.
People are gonna be like, what is that hole? And I'm gonna put this emoji there with their head exploding. Another curiosity hook. Obviously, this hole is going somewhere crazy. Let's go. And that got the clicks.
So the reason I even brought up the whole being Bernard thing is that I was thinking along the lines of what Eric said, like, Aaron, you could send that out, keep it private or unlisted, right? And send out the new release to your inner circle, or as many people as you can get to open it and watch it before
Right.
you release it. So like you're like giving these people early access to it, right? They can see it before anyone else. And then when it does release, you'll have, however many views that hopefully would then boost your reach.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know anymore, like if it works still or not. I've moved on to like bigger accounts and stuff like that. So I don't use like any of the black hat stuff. But I mean, 5-6 years ago, we would blast that thing with fake views on YouTube, unlisted, fake likes, fake everything, and then launch it. And then it would get surge. Don't know if that works anymore. I haven't used that.
I think we try.
Yeah. Well, on one of my other channels first, so I don't crash it or something.
Yeah, so, you want to, for anybody out there that's listening, you don't really want to do that. If you want to like test the waters and get black hat, by all means, but I don't advise it. I don't use it myself anymore.
So before I go into I want to ask you to prepare your mind. I want to ask you just like what, if you're going to tell just in general, here are the top 3 things that someone should do to help with their SEO, right? To be thinking about that. What I'm hearing you say over and over and over, kind of in between the lines, is that we all need to be focusing on intent, the customer's intent. What are they looking for? How can we intentionally provide that for them?
And we're ready to match that intent.
And sorry, say that again. You dropped out.
Branding. The biggest one, number 1, is branding yourself as an authority to match that intent.
Okay. So then, with all that being said, what would you say your, just rule of thumb, top 3 things that every business should be doing to help their SEO?
Again, branding is number 1. If you're not on every single social network and you're not publishing everywhere, eventually your competitor will, and they're going to be valued as an authority more than you are. That's going to have, byproducts to it, right? Like you're going to lose rank, they're going to gain rank, so on and so forth. So brand yourself as heavily as possible. That is the biggest. You could sit here and worry about backlinks and this, but if you look over time, all of that stuff fades out, becomes more powerful, becomes powerful. I've seen it happen with backlinks 10 different times over the years, where they are super powerful to not as powerful to back to being super powerful again. So the best thing you can do is brand yourself, solidify your positioning on the web. I don't care where it is. Look at your competitors to kind of gauge where you need to be at and where you need to be branded at. But make sure that you are branded. I mean, it really is 50% of the battle. If you can get that and you can build authority in search, you're going to gain backlinks just because you're building out your authority. So you're kind of, I hate to say kill birds with stones, I say kill stones with birds. So you're kind of killing 2 stones with 1 bird. Or multiple stones, right? By doing it that way and approaching it that way, you're getting free backlinks, you're getting all of the things. Focus on that first. I think a lot of businesses come in and they're like, what links do I need? What content do I need to be publishing? What do I need to just do it? Build out your brand. What are you trying to show to people? Where is your expertise lying at? Start there first. Get on social media. Get on Reddit and answer people's questions. Make sure your Reddit profile is built out and has all your links and has your social networks. Get on Reddit and answer questions. That's the easiest way to drive traffic to your brand right now, is answering questions on Reddit. It really can't get any easier than that. Reddit is a powerhouse right now, going, as I spoke, 170 million in monthly traffic to over 1 billion in monthly traffic now. It's massive. It's massive. It's trying to not go on Reddit and present yourself as an authority. And again, take leverage of that easy traffic. It's easy traffic. This is low hanging fruit stuff. So so your brand, and that's I think number 2 and number 3 are really going to tie into that, right? Like, your number 2 is going to be, like I said, probably your social networks at this point in time. And that's all of them. YouTube, video. If I could sum up number 2, do some video. Get some video of yourself out there. Get some video of what you provide, your services. Then maybe think outside the box a little bit. If you're a certain product, you might want to do a comparison of your competitor, live on the camera. You want to do something like, your son with the coffee. He might want to make a coffee recipe that no one has done yet, right? Brew something else with this coffee. Like, I tried this weird blend and it came out great. Just think of that content that is going to get some eyes on you and capture people's attention and get yourself out there as an authority and video. And then 3 is going to be probably making sure that you have a website and the basic stuff, and have your foundational SEO stuff there, and and just try to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to I hate other SEOs because they're always like, like the LLMs.txt document. I don't know if you've heard of that yet. Half of the SEO industry is like, the crawlers, the AI crawlers don't even read the LLMs.txt document at this point in time. And in my head, I go, okay, why does that matter? They don't read it yet. So there's a potential that they could read it. Why would there be an LLMs.txt document you can put on your website if it had no use?
Right.
So let me put it up there anyway. I mean, it can't hurt me, so let me do it. So it really is just kind of paying attention to everything going on. What are the new advancements? Now, if it comes out that LLMs.txt documents are hurting websites, okay, then we remove it. Get it out of there. But right now it's not. So it's true. I mean, number 3 is kind of complicated to sum up, but it would be, focus on your foundational SEO stuff and try to stay up to date as much as possible with what's going on in search.
Okay. So number 1, brand yourself. Number 2, be on all the socials and use them. Post, create content. Number 3, make sure your foundational SEO is in place and stay up to date.
Correct.
Dude, that's not a short list. I mean, it's a great list, but like
I feel like it works because most people really are trying to promote one thing, and now maybe I'm recognizing that there's something wrong with me trying to do what I see as 2 completely competing things. I'm trying to present myself as a professional, an actual therapist, and also as a satirical version of like a joke of the same
that's
thing.
Cool.
No, that's
cool.
okay.
Example, my buddy at one of the things you can go look at, my buddy at Monster Agency, Andrew Moles, great Facebook ad guy. Go look at his ads on YouTube. Monster Agency. He's dressed up like Dr. Phil and done like parody stuff and stuff like that to promote his agency. So no, it's excellent to do funny stuff. People love funny stuff. I don't think they'd take you less serious because you're doing comedy or whatever. I think it would bring.
Well, it's going to attract your right. It's going to repel the wrong audience, and it's going to attract the right audience.
Attract the right one. It's really funny because I've never told any of my actual clients about my funny videos.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But it is interesting because I say lines as Bernard that I do not say as Aaron, as me.
Oh, okay.
In the therapy session. So I do a lot of maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And I had a client the other day come in and they were repeating all the stuff that I had said in session from the week before. And she says in there, so my husband says this thing, and I think to myself, maybe. And then she like eyeballs me, gives me the look with the grin. And she's like, he's not meaning that. Maybe he's meaning this. And I was like, I don't remember saying that in session. That was a video. So you're watching my videos, my funny videos that are like completely like,
and it's meshing in there with the other stuff.
Yeah, and it's blending in with the actual stuff. So I was like, I don't know how responsible that is, but at the same time,
maybe
it works
do something to differentiate your appearance.
Yeah.
No?
Maybe. I don't care.
Parody stuff, maybe
honestly,
wear a big mustache, or something like that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. And I probably ought not say this or put it out to the universe, but at the same time, like, let's manifest it. Is I would really like to be able to retire into the satirical, more funny.
Sure,
mode.
absolutely.
That's really much more me, honestly, than the persona I have to put on being professional.
Yeah, nice. Me
and
too.
I don't do
write
that very
stand-up
well
comedy
either.
on the
I'm still
side,
pretty
too, so.
sarcastic and pretty crass in the room anyway. But at least there it's private, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, I think being funny, I mean, we're in a different era now, man. I think being funny and showing that comedic side of you brings more humanity, you know, into it. And people, your clients and stuff could see, oh, this is a real person that I'm dealing with. They're not just some straight arrow, straight to the point person that overanalyze.
Oh, yeah, I don't think anybody gets that impression of me, but I get where you're going.
No, I'm saying like maybe somebody new, right? Cool. Like somebody that's seen the comedy video and then, you know, went to you. Like I don't think that they're ever gonna be like, oh, he's a little too, you know, comedic for me. You know, it's
you don't want those stiffs anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know, if someone's gonna judge you like that, you probably don't want them sitting in your chair anyway.
I don't trust people that don't have a sense of humor. You
know? They're probably not going to get me anyway. And I understand too. I'm not everybody's therapist. Like, right. I get people that come in and I'm like, if my brand of weird doesn't mesh with your brand of weird, we are not going to get along. And they're like, yeah. Like, I can see we're obviously. Or we are. And they laugh and they're like, yeah, I watched some of them have watched my other YouTube channels and they're like, watched your YouTube channel and I like how like assertive and forthcoming you are. I think we're going to get along just great. And I'm like, really? Okie doke. We'll sit down. Let's go.
That was another one that's more
that's my actual therapy one. I was going and doing actual therapy stuff, stating like, you know, legitimate things, not making fun of it. This channel, I'm making fun of everything, including myself.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
oh man, it's been a journey, and that's kind of been a part of like, you know, we've covered it on the podcast. Like, he's pivoted a lot in trying to find what works versus what he wants to continue doing. Right. So, this one, like you actually are still enjoying. I know you hit a hump where you were like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was not enjoying the AI stuff, but now I'm having a lot of fun. The problem is that I find, typically speaking, that the videos that I make, and especially the therapy ones, the actual therapy ones, people won't watch what they need to hear. They watch what they want to hear. So I can get on there and tell them, listen, you got broken up with, but check it. I got 5 tricks that are going to win her back. I'm not telling people that shit. You broke up for a reason. Get out of there. And so the videos that I'm telling them, like, listen, cut them off. No contact. Get on with your life. Well, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear the 5 tricks to win them back.
Intent.
So it's like I can make videos and get popular, but I'm saying stuff I don't believe.
Well, see,
or
here's
I
the
say
thing.
what I believe and no one cares.
I can help you out with that one, actually. So with YouTube, with videos, you want your title to tap into what they want, but you keep the video what they need. Right. So I'll give you an example in my realm, right? If someone came to me and they had a video on how to optimize your YouTube title, right?
Yeah.
What does somebody really want that's typing into Google, how do I optimize my YouTube title? They don't.
How to get more people to click your video.
They really don't want to know how to optimize the YouTube video. They want to know how to get more views.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. So I can shift that title to say, get 1 million views with this title trick.
Okay.
Touche.
So now I tapped into what they want. They want to get 1 million views. And the video is about strictly what they need. Well, here's how you're going to optimize your YouTube title to get what you need.
Eric, I have a very strange question for you.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Are you a good poker player?
Okay. Maybe, you know, I dabbled with it online and stuff like that, but maybe, I don't know. I haven't taken it serious.
That the way your brain works, would kind of position you to, outside of the actual card playing, to like be able to bluff really well. I don't know.
I've had that hunch that I could. I'm like, you know, I think I have this hunch that I poker, but I haven't dove in yet. So
yeah, well, maybe don't. But you know, that might be a path you don't want to go down. It just depending
No,
on
I'll be standing outside a Vegas casino next 10 years.
right. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
dude, thank you so much for, coming on and enlightening us. I mean, I still I think this one, there's like so much to chew on,
I know.
to digest.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it's a lot.
Imagine my brain. I tell people, I'm like, I wish I would have been a gardener or something, man.
You'd driven yourself crazy pushing the mower with nothing to think about. Your brain would have been spinning.
I don't know, man. After all this, the SEO does keep you busy, but at the same time, I mean, you have stuff that goes wrong and you're like, why is this going wrong? Why did this go bad? I've done everything right. I've followed the protocol. I've done what I've seen worked in the past, and now it's not working again. And then you got to dive back into the algorithm and dissect, and it's tough, man. It's I want to say learning Google's algorithm is tougher than like being a heart surgeon, man.
Yeah,
and heart surgeons learn what they're doing, and they pretty much, for the most part, figure out the heart. There's no figuring out Google.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You figure it out, and then you got to refigure it out again 3 months later.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I have, not had any interest in going down that path. Again,
it's a tough one.
I'm so thankful for people like you, because that means I don't have to.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, what are some, where can people find you online if they're, looking for some help with SEO?
Really, I don't, I haven't put, I don't put my information out. It's one of the things. I was sharing it on my Facebook. If you flash back a year ago, I mean, I was sharing, just give you an example of why I don't share as much as I do. I wrote a couple of scripts, the script to automate the EXIF data of photos. I got naysayed by a couple of the bigwigs on that. Then they went and took what I was doing, because I posted the code publicly. They went and created a WordPress plugin with the code. After they naysayed me, the same guys launched a plugin a few months later that it did a little bit different than my script did, but it's just weird that you guys naysayed the image optimization, and then you go create a plugin doing the same image optimization.
So fishy.
And they did that to me with schema markup. I did something with schema. Oh yeah, I was talking about how important schema markup was, and got naysayed by one of the big guys. And he was like, well, what do how is it working for you? And I was like, just communicating with him, and I'm like, well, it works this way, and this is, you got to make sure you're connecting these nodes and doing this and doing that. And next thing you know, they created a plugin a couple months later for their big plugin. I'm not going to drop any names, but it's big people that stole my idea. So I don't really put, like I said, my Facebook right now is more just all over, more ADD, stock trading to some SEO. I do mix some SEO in there, I just, and if people DM me, I will drop them a line if it's a cool person. Like recently, I just was like, why is everybody using Omega Indexer? It's junk, basically. And so of course it got comments from people I like and I don't like. And the people that I do like, they got told the new indexer that I'm using that works wonderfully.
Nice
% index rate. So those guys got told that in DM, the guys didn't. So I do somewhat. So, I mean, you just look me up online, Eric Plotz. It's not a common name. So if you look up Eric Plotz, Blue Lake Web Design, you'll pretty much find me everywhere. Everything from when I used to do hip hop music to the beats I've made.
Nice.
We got a puppy.
Yes, that is our
the new guys getting another guest coming on, or what?
Yeah. Well, if we'd had any guests at the front door, you would have known it, because he's our alarm system.
The alarm. Yeah. Security guard.
Yes. Well, he's a Schnauzer, so he has an inferiority complex. He's small and German. I don't know.
Really big ego.
Really
big. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man. So I'm sure we're all going to have many, many questions after we, finish this, but man, don't be a stranger. I'm sure things will change in 3 months and we'll have more questions for you, but man, thank you so much, Eric, for coming on and being a part of the podcast and bringing value, a ton of value. making us scratch our heads and increasing our to-do list, all those amazing things. But it's been a real pleasure. Is there anything before we wrap up? Is there anything like you want to say to the world? Now is your time.
Not really. No, I hope, what they could do is like, just take some of the stuff I've done, apply it, see that it works, and then drop me a line. Tell me it worked. Come over to Facebook. I'll accept the friend request, just let you that you're actually able to take, what I spoke about here and applied it in some way. I did, Chris told me about what about the automation stuff. So I do have it in the back of my head. I want to pick your brain at some point in time.
Anytime.
But
I love automation because it enables me to, it frees up and gives me back time. That's the real reason. If I'm going to be like deflecting, I'll be like, I love automation because I'm lazy. So, there's probably reasons that I should sit down on a couch and talk to Aaron about the reason why I would deflect. But anyway, anytime, man. I love really what, for me, I love small business because that's what I am. That's where I grew up in. My family was in a small business. That's all I really know. And so like, if I can, help someone, succeed, that's really why I feel like I'm here,
Sure. Absolutely.
And I find it incredibly rewarding. I mean, it's kind of selfish, but like in helping other people, I feel rewarded, so, but yeah, I'd absolutely love to. And I'm learning, more and more things always. AI agents are like a thing I'm dabbling in, and I need to like get more into, but
us too, no different than us that are in it, right? Like it's all new to us too.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where you have to continue to row the boat while also learning how to make a new and better, oar.
And not pull your back out,
Exactly. Oh man. Well, cool. Hey, thank you again. And to all of our audience, until next week, mind your business. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.